One. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Qaos podcast. We're on episode 5. We have a lot to talk about because we've been off for a little bit.
We've already been talking for the past 30 minutes.
The past hour.
We've been talking for a while.
Yeah.
Essentially, we have a list of 8 things to go over, and then we'll see where we go from there. First off,
More?
GPT-4.
Oh man.
We got GPT-4, we got Google Bard, we got Bing Image, we got Adobe Images, we got Framer AI websites, we have text-to-video, Microsoft 365, and Midjourney version 5. There's a lot to cover, and let's begin with the staple and the biggest thing that we were anticipating, GPT-4.
Which happened over spring break.
Over our spring break.
It has. Of course, it was that way.
So GPT-4 was released last Thursday in private beta, and they're slowly releasing it to more and more people. We have access to it right now.
I mean, it's Bing.
It's basically Bing, but I think Bing is like 3.7, and this is like GPT-4.
Is that true?
Because Bing doesn't do the image.
I think GPT-4 is Bing.
I think it is.
It's always been Bing.
But my question is,
always been.
You know how in one of the demos that they gave at the keynote for GPT-4, they did a napkin sketch of a website frame, and then they converted that image into code.
Well, yeah.
That is not functionality that Bing can do.
Yeah, not yet.
Not yet, but does OpenAI want to integrate that into Bing?
Oh, for sure. Microsoft is going to make them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, exactly. There's a lot of money there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're getting way ahead of ourselves. Let's do a quick rundown of GPT-4.
It's like GPT-3, but better.
So true.
And
Better
there's this
and
new.
images.
Remember how we were talking about the multimodal capabilities? What exactly is that?
I'll explain it, I guess.
How I perceive multimodal is you're up on deck because I don't know if mine is right.
Okay,
because how I perceive multimodal is like AIs talking to other AIs talking to other AIs.
Yeah, that's a good. I think basically the way I view it as AI transferring ideas between itself without converting to English first. So before, imagine you'd ask DALL-E to make a prompt for a Midjourney image and then have Midjourney make that image up front. Essentially now what you're doing is you're cutting out that translation phase and saying, here's my idea, make this entire idea image. Or vice versa, here's my image, make this image an idea. And that translation back to English, where you would put it between other service AIs, now becomes one big AI that squishes it all together, and basically it optimizes it a ton because it's really inefficient to convert it to a whole other language and then put it back to the idea. So
Yeah. I thought that the image, like the input of the image and then the output of a website, did you guys see that?
That's wild.
Yeah. That was crazy.
That's my job gone.
Uh-oh.
Oh man.
The front end and the back end?
Yeah, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. When we see these AI models, I think making full stack services and products is becoming more and more likely by the day.
Yeah.
I think we'll be shocked.
Yeah. And I think there's going to be a lot of things that are coming with GPT-4. I mean, with the launch of GPT-4, they a bunch of companies announced GPT-4 adjacent products. Like Khan Academy released their stuff. Duolingo has Duolingo Max, which the aesthetics are phenomenal, if I might say so myself. You have Stripe Docs. OpenAI partnered with Stripe for that. So there's a lot of partnerships OpenAI is doing with GPT-4, and they've been working on this for a long time. So excited to see how it goes. We're going to keep you up to date on GPT-4 basically every week, most likely.
Yeah, hopefully we can get our hands on it soon.
Yeah, we only have the playground. We don't have the API yet.
Yeah.
So once we get the API, you'll be the first to know.
A lot of prompt engineering.
Oh. All right, next.
This isn't on the list, but I feel like it's related because we're talking about OpenAI. Did you guys see the chat that ChatGPT went down? Not only did it go down, but they mixed up everyone's histories.
Really?
Is that true?
Yeah,
all chat histories that it's auto categorized.
Mm-hmm.
You would see other people's chat histories, and then they put it back. They put ChatGPT back up, but then they got rid of histories.
Oh, I saw that.
How does that happen though? How do you mix up the
I
user IDs?
I have no
OpenAI,
idea.
I'm gonna be honest. OpenAI, we know that auth sucks for OpenAI just because the number of times you have to sign in.
Yeah.
I'm sure there was some auth issue that just screwed
I
everything.
feel like they need to hire better front end, like non AI researchers. They need like
Yeah,
that's
actual
true.
front
Yeah,
end
yeah,
they
people.
have too many AI people.
Not enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is funny. But yeah, as a developer, I could not imagine how you mess up the user IDs for all those accounts.
Yeah.
That is wild. That's the
That's
weirdest
actually
glitch I've ever
insane.
heard.
And you messed up so bad that you can't fix it. You have to get rid of it.
Yeah, that's
That's
it's probably a
insane.
safety thing at that point. 'Cause
Yeah.
I
you
feel
don't
like they probably messed up the data set,
Mhm.
and they have to refix the data set
yeah,
because they still aren't back.
Yeah.
really. Well, because I mean, think people are probably putting in company critical information at ChatGPT. As much as we want to think they don't, they probably
Oh,
do.
they
A
definitely
lot of
do.
people do. A lot
Right?
of people do.
So it's
How
probably
much
a
information
risk.
have you guys been putting in the chat?
Oh, they know our
Oh.
entire app.
Every
Every line of coding,
is gone.
piece it back together, and everything. Yeah, no. I don't know, but yeah, it's very interesting. It's a weird glitch, but
Yeah.
yeah. One thing I wanted to know before we move on to the next thing with
Yeah.
GPT-4, I've been slowly automating all my homework, and the one thing I haven't done yet is my physics classes, and that's because every physics problem has a picture with it. That the context of the problem relies on the picture.
Yeah.
So I've been waiting for this multimodal image to text for a long time,
Mhm.
and I
Since you started school.
Oh yeah, and you know the first thing I'm gonna put in there is a screenshot of my physics problems and see how well it can do because I'm really excited for this,
Oh yes.
especially like circuit diagrams and
That's
and,
time.
simple, and physics problems. I think school assignments in general are going down, so
They're going
it'll be
down.
very cool to
Yeah.
see.
Very excited. All right. So next up we have Google's Bard.
And I'm
It
in the
just
bucket.
it just got released today. In a closed beta. It's not closed. It's an open beta. And essentially, you guys can try it out at bard.google.com. Just sign up for the wait list. You'll probably get in like a couple of hours.
Yeah. Bard is bugging.
Bard is. There are a
It's
lot of things
anxious.
with Bard. But
It has
Define bugging for the audience.
Like it has a lot of self doubt.
yeah, like
It's just
if
not
I
okay.
could classify, if I could,
It's very anxious.
yeah, the one word I would use to describe Bard is like they need a therapist. like
if-
anxious.
If you ask or tell Bard like, something bad, it'll be like, yes, I know, I am.
I suck.
I'm
I'm
terrible.
so sorry.
I'm so sorry.
I'll be like, what?
wild. I can code this landing page for Bard in about 20 minutes. I bet.
You could code that using GPT-4.
Wait,
Got good.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think one of the things is like yet again. I think what we're noticing is a huge trend within Google, which is that Google is not doing really hot with software, and somehow as a software company,
Bro,
I don't know. What's
their
happening.
hardware is better than software, and their hardware is the pixel lineup in Google Nest. So
That's a little rough. I don't know. Well,
I mean, Google search is good, but will it be good 5 years from now? It's hard to tell.
I mean,
Oh.
The
Bing
verdict is out.
just passed 100 million users.
Oh,
What?
dang.
Yes,
Is that true?
yeah.
Wait, they should just sell Google.
Wait, what are
Can
the?
you guys believe that a year ago we'd be saying that Bing passed 100 million
No.
users?
Well, so wait, ChatGPT. Okay, did that be the ChatGPT record? Because remember the ChatGPT record was really fast.
It-
ChatGPT was fast, but Bing was not as fast.
I know it's fast.
Nowhere near
That's
as fast.
yeah, that's what I assume.
But yeah, Bing.
Bing is a name.
Yeah, Bing and Bing Chat. Yeah, but like Bing, the comeback of the century. Seriously, like that's
Yeah,
crazy.
Honestly.
If you think Microsoft would have launched Bing again under a different name, would it have grown much faster?
For sure.
No.
I think it would.
I don't think so.
I think it would have. Yeah.
I don't think so. Do you
I
know
feel
why I think so? Because everyone knows Bing is a failure, so it's still in people's brain. It's a great like as a marketing person, you take a failed product and reintroduce it. People are going to be like, wait, this new thing is actually pretty good. The Bing name is terrible. Let's just talk about how terrible Bing used to be.
I know, but I don't think they're big branding it that much because they did change the name from Internet Explorer to Edge.
That is
They
true.
didn't
That's
keep
true.
it Internet Explorer and was like, oh, it's new better. They abandoned that. I feel like and that worked great.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it worked like better.
I think it was intentional. Like, okay, just for that reason, like changing from Internet Explorer to Edge was a very conscious decision.
Yeah.
Keeping Bing was also an equally conscious decision.
Yeah.
So I think it was because there's so much baggage with Bing to create new, better baggage, like positive baggage.
I feel like you just
I don't
abandoned the
know.
baggage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I think
like,
but I
no,
think
but like
that-
Microsoft did that.
That's
with
the Gen Z
Internet Explorer.
mindset.
it's okay to fail sometimes.
Yeah.
Leave it in the past.
Exactly. But what I'm saying is like,
Yeah.
but
Amen.
they dropped the baggage with Internet Explorer and created Edge, right?
Yeah.
It was
They
Bing-
didn't do that with Bing because
with
they
Bing-
knew.
They're like, no, we need this baggage.
Yeah, I think it's smart.
I
I don't think it would have been as big if Bing was not the name.
Bing is tainted.
I think
for
that
me.
saying "big Bing"
Low-key,
is
yeah.
so
But, like,
hard.
But the fact of the matter is that we all know, like, Bing has the brand of being terrible. So
Yeah.
when we go in, we're like expecting a bad experience, but we're using GPT-4. We're like, whoa.
Well, I don't know. For me, it's like I know it's gonna be good, but I cannot get myself to use Bing because it's just called Bing. I don't know.
I agree with that. And also, if I
yeah.
told my parents, I said, "Oh, you guys should try Bing again," but they're like, "Oh, Bing's not good. We don't like Bing."
Mhm.
So I think like with us, we're young. We change fast, right? We adjust fast. I think especially like for like people older than us, they're much less likely to change.
I mean, I honestly, I don't think it matters. I think if enough
This is
people
besides the
say,
point.
yeah, if enough people say Bing,
The fact that we are on this section, we're talking about Bard, and instead we're talking about Bing, just tells you tells you enough about Bard. Anyway, next thing
Is
is
Bing.
Bing.
yeah.
No way.
Yeah, the next thing is Bing. So Bing Chat is now in the next couple of days in a closed beta. They're going to be releasing text to image. So DALL-E 2 got an update. It's called DALL-E 2 Experimental. But basically, you get to generate more high quality images.
They really just didn't have the DALL-E 3 subreddit, and so they were like, DALL-E 2 experimental.
yeah, DALL-E 2 Experimental,
Good job.
and essentially it's like Midjourney version 3.5. Like it's a lot better, but it's nowhere near the level of Midjourney right now. But the fact that it's integrated into like a search engine and being able to generate stuff, I think is pretty promising.
But then
And they're basically setting up the step for GPT-4 from going like reverse image,
yeah.
right? So
Here's the thing I don't get about that is that DALL-E 2 costs so much money. And are they really going to do it for free for everyone? Then what's the business opportunity for OpenAI?
and they're generating 4 images per.
Yeah.
Huh.
So I think there could be some weird strategy where like Microsoft is trying to throttle OpenAI's growth a little bit by essentially fronting the money so that more people use their thing, and that I don't know.
Yeah, I
don't see nobody's been like paying for DALL-E 2 images anyways.
Yeah,
exactly.
Midjourney.
You know what I think it is? I think it's more of a primer where people get used to the fact of like doing text to image, because you're doing text to text and you're doing a chatbot experience. They're priming people with the text to image experience so that when they introduce like the multimodal GPT-4, it's like image to text.
Mm-hmm.
People are already like, oh, I already understand text to image. Oh, it's probably the same principle. And
Yeah.
using their UI, understanding it more, I think it's an easier ledge to jump onto
Mm-hmm.
than just going straight like from text to like, oh, now you can put in images and you can do whatever you want. Like people won't get that.
Yeah, I think the jump for me is I think they're prepping for more analytical images as opposed to like flashy photography images. Because
Yeah.
if you ask Midjourney to make a graph that has like, oh, the x-axis goes to 20, the y-axis goes to 40, right? Midjourney will just make you the most random graph ever because
Yeah.
it doesn't truly understand what those numbers mean.
Yeah.
But when you plug that deep cognitive understanding into something like GPT-4, you may be able to generate graphs that genuinely make sense,
The thing is
right?
that with a graph, you don't need diffusion to make a graph. You can use like Excel.
Well, no, I think it's from the
Sure.
graph to the text. Like like for instance, one of the demos that they did for GPT-4.
Graph to text.
No, I was saying text to graph.
I was
Oh,
thinking
you were?
I think text
Sure.
to graph is a great idea.
A graph could be a worse example. Maybe like a physics problem scenario, right?
Mhm.
Maybe you type into GPT-4 like there's a ball falling in this guy's head, right? Label the ball as going like 9.81
Yeah.
G or whatever, all that stuff, right? So it's
You're really dull and not doing that homework.
I know, I really am. But I think the idea of Midjourney is very artsy. If there's a definite place for DALL-E 2 to become like
Practical.
a more practical version
Yeah.
of an image generator, and because it has that deep understanding, it can definitely do a whole array of things that Midjourney cannot
Yeah.
do.
I agree with that.
For sure. Yeah, so that's Bing Images.
Bing images.
Images.
Okay.
Okay.
Adobe images.
Before we go to Adobe, I'm gonna jump down a few things because we're on the Microsoft train. We might as
Okay.
well talk about Copilot.
Sure.
They have so Microsoft has been really trying to brand AI as Copilot.
Oh, the idea of Copilot.
Oh, yeah.
The idea of Copilot,
That's not our
right? It's like
Copilot. Yeah, Copilot.
No, it's basically like trying to be a supporter for whatever. So now they're introducing the concept of Copilot into their entire Office 365 lineup. So now they're integrating it like with Word, Excel, PowerPoint, every product. And I think it's a really interesting implementation, especially since we knew this was going to happen, but having Microsoft be able to do it, I think is really cool. Google also made an announcement, but again, they made an announcement, so who knows what's going to happen. So I think like having the Copilot be able to, like, for instance, one of the use cases they showed was in Excel, you have a huge list of data or like a huge database. You can ask kind of like a ChatGPT style, like, hey, what is the performance in Q3? And it'll create a graph or it'll create a pie chart. Oh, what's the breakdown? It'll create another one. And it'll like use the data to create more like visual stuff. I think that's a really powerful thing that I would love to use. And then in Teams, doing the summarizers and kind of using Whisper. Again, there's a lot of really interesting integrations. I'm just really hoping that they do like a reskinning of their entire like product, because the promo videos that they made looked gorgeous. And I know the actual products will never look nearly as gorgeous, so they need to like match that a little more. But that's just my design take on Microsoft 365. Do you guys have any thoughts?
I mean, I don't really use like Microsoft 365 that much, but I would assume that if I did, it would be helpful. The Copilot for devs.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. GitHub Copilot is definitely very good. But we've been new.
Yeah.
Okay, now we'll go back to Adobe. So today,
Is that and vectors?
yeah, so it can generate vectors inside Adobe Illustrator.
Whoa, that's a game changer.
Yeah, and it's called Adobe Firefly, I think.
Yep, it's called
Yeah.
Adobe Firefly.
Yeah, it's Project
That's fire.
Firefly.
That's fire.
It's got
And-
all city song.
It's actually really,
You would
really
not
good.
believe your-
Like if you guys, basically, I'm just gonna pull up the.
Is it their own
landing page.
model? Is it their own image model or something else?
I think it is. I'm not sure, but it looks like it because, like, for instance, like the illustration, artwork, and graphic design, it creates building blocks, like literally custom vectors and brushes.
Oh, what?
Like that. This is all generated. So, like, what I'm showing is like a letter B that's like a very stylized vector.
Mm-hmm.
You can use that image and convert it into a vector,
Oh,
and then you can edit that vector inside Illustrator.
that's fine.
Which is crazy. Like that's insane tech.
That's pretty
And
good, actually.
one of our old employees, they knew a few people that were working on this project, which is pretty cool.
Wow. I had an idea like a few years ago where you take a bunch of like SVG images and then like render them to PNG and then train an AI to go back and forth between them.
Yeah.
So you could eventually go PNG to this, but I just never did it.
Do that? You can do it.
In Figma, there's already text to SVG.
But like,
Um,
think about it. When you think about an SVG, it's just a bunch of paths.
Yeah.
Like you guys
Yeah.
have seen it. It's all like text basically. So
Mhm.
you can ask GPT-3. You guys, I've tried it out. It's pretty fun.
Mm-hmm.
You just ask it to make an SVG.
Oh,
It'll
Weird.
like output the HTML.
huh.
Are there invalid SVGs though? I'm assuming. Like,
I mean,
does
like
the start
it
point
can
have to
look
meet
bad.
the end point? Or no?
I don't know enough about SVGs.
Yeah.
I know that it does work though.
That's cool.
Yeah, very interesting. But I think Adobe's getting their skin in the game, and I think
They have to though.
I mean obviously they have to, and like Adobe's AI is like going crazy right now. I mean I've heard internally that they're doing. They're working on a lot of projects to integrate, but they have way too many products. Let's be
I
honest.
think
a lot.
the thing about Adobe is that, like in a lot of these AI integrations, is that it's so easy for anyone to integrate.
They just have the
that-
customers, right?
Yeah, but like other people have customers too,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's not as strong. Like it's a lot of first mover advantage right now.
Yeah.
It's like if you can get a bunch of people to use your thing and stick with it, chances are you'll probably win.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely interesting, and I think again, like so many people are. Well, actually, never mind. Figma's an Adobe product now. I'm not worried.
No.
I totally forgot about that. We're
Really?
screwed.
Oh, no.
Okay,
So this next one is kind of another rant from me because I like it.
Framer.
Framer is going to be in the coming days or weeks. It's going to be releasing their text to website generator. And it's essentially like you just type in like, hey, I want a
Like-
personal portfolio as a graphic designer. Make a website for me. And then you just type that in and it'll generate the whole thing like HTML, automatically resizing and scaling.
I see the value and I think it's great, but also think about it in an era where you can use chat to automatically look at websites and extract information. Like, the amount of people that will be visiting other websites is going to go down.
True.
So
but not for the next 5 years, though, I feel like.
Yeah, but it's kind of I see it as like a temporary thing. I think that there'll always be value in having a website, but like the value will go down and down as time goes on.
I think this is not like I think this product like Framer is designed to be a no-code website or like a no-code builder, or like very much a design tool. So I think this is very much for like the type of people that don't know coding or that don't really care about websites nearly as much, where they're just trying to get the people that would never have made a website before to be able to just have something and to use their platform to do it.
It's like knockoff Webflow. I'm a big Webflow.
I'm gonna be honest. Like I love Webflow. Webflow and Framer. They have two very different experiences on how, or like very different approaches to how they build websites. But I love both of them equally. I legitimately cannot pick a favorite. It's really hard for me to pick a favorite.
Interesting. I have a cool take on chat interfaces as well, because you mentioned that people are not going to go to websites as much.
Yeah.
I actually disagree. I think what's going to happen is I think chat interfaces will very quickly become text to speech, because people can talk way faster than they can like type and stuff.
Sure.
So I think what'll happen is it'll go text to speech, and you'll talk to the AI, it'll talk back to you. So what do you put on the screen, right? I think that you'll put on some abstract image of the website or brand or place you're visiting. I think visual content will return to chat engines, because the chat text area on the screen will be spoken to you, and you can put something else there.
Exactly. I mean, if we can make an AI that can make a website, then we just put that in a chatbot and have it automatically make a website.
Yeah, on the fly of the brand. That's wild.
I feel like that's a better use.
That is really interesting.
And that's why I think this is an interesting stepping stone, right? Because if you can build an entire website in like seconds,
you build it on the fly for the customer.
If you build it on the fly, just like
now we need to know how to.
That is wild.
Like primer. This is like another first step for like something we like to call internally auto bagel.
True.
And so I think this is definitely something interesting. Okay.
Runway ML text to video.
Oh man.
Sorry, we are bulleting through a bunch of content.
Yeah, there's a lot.
There is a lot, but yeah. So just before we get into text to video, like there's a lot of things happening in the AI space. And I think, like especially like even narrower than AI, just generative AI. I think it's very interesting that we, like every single week, we always have like 10, 12 things to talk about. Just every single day, there's things happening. I think it's also good to just take a step back, kind of like what we did in spring break. Is just take a step back, let it all kind of fizzle, and then just evaluate what is there. I don't know. I feel like
except that week is when everything happened.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. we probably could have picked a different week, but I think like in this entire space, there's kind of a few things that I'm noticing. One is people are no longer just making models; they're making use cases, like the text to website, making a vector in Illustrator. Like, people are actually starting to get on that trend of like, wow, we actually need to make use cases. We need to sell that. And then two, the people that are making the models are, like, going ham. Like, there's just a lot going on. I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts?
I agree. Everything's blowing up all at once.
Yeah. I think that more people are making models than use cases still. Because the text to video, that's a model. This, like, Adobe thing, that's a model. There's just, my thing is like, how many text to image models do we need?
We need one good one.
I think we need more than one, but do we need 10?
I think we need one deeply integrated into a larger text model. I think when you
But then how many text models do we need?
One.
I think we need one as well.
But we're not. But there's Bard. There's GPT.
Okay, one good one
is not a competitor.
I know. Google is gonna pour so much money into making it good. They're not gonna let themselves.
No. They will pour tons of money.
They will, but will they succeed? I don't know.
We'll see.
I don't have too much faith.
They've already poured a bunch of money into it.
Yeah, exactly.
But
I don't know.
No, they got one. They'll get there. There's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I think we'll see. I think. Yeah.
I think that like a lot of stuff happening in AI today is like, it's like people are living in today's world, and then AI shows up, and they're like, how do you incorporate AI into today's world? But I think that like the world that we're going to is not going to be like today. It's going to be a completely different world. It's like when the internet first started, people were thinking about the problems of the day and like seeing like, oh, let's just do that online. But the thing is that the world of the internet is a completely different world, and it's a completely different thought process to live in a world that's that connected.
Yeah.
And I think that like that's why a lot of like mistakes happened in the early internet time, is because people were putting things on the internet that just weren't, that there were problems that were like basically going away, and that were solved by the internet. And I think a lot of stuff is happening like that in AI, like with this website thing. It's like, yeah, it can make websites, but how long will people need to make websites for themselves?
That's a good point.
It's like they're not. It's a good idea. It's a good product, but it's not like they fully adopted into the future of AI and are thinking about what will actually happen in a world where this AI tech is universal.
It's like a Band-Aid for like a bullet hole, you know.
But I don't think
a temporary thing.
But these companies don't think that way. That's what I'm saying. Is that
Sure.
they? Yeah. I think that they think that like things like today are going to stay the same, but that's just not true.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be a mistake that a lot of AI companies today are going to have a big like reckoning
Yeah.
when sort of the hype starts to die down.
Yeah, for sure.
Boom.
But it is cool to be in the shuffle period when everything kind of.
Yeah, and I mean,
it's the most. This is the most fun time, I think. Well, I don't know. Actually,
I
we'll
mean,
see.
like,
We'll see.
we've been talking a lot. Toma and I, like, we've been talking with a lot of people. I mean, pre-generative AI boom, where they were like, "Wow, you know, when I lived through the .com or when I lived through the birth of the internet, shit was crazy." And now, and then post like generative AI boom, they're like, "Wow, I'm seeing a lot of the similar things happening with your generation." And like you guys are being brought up with this exciting time period, and it'll become even bigger.
Yeah, I think in terms of the internet, like we are, you know, like the internet really started to kick off. Like it started in like 1995, and then the .com bust was like 2001, 2 or 3, like early 2000s. And so what? That's like 7 years, 6 years.
Yeah.
I think we're like 1996.
I think we're year 2 as well. Yeah.
I think we're year 2, and so we have like 4 years.
We're gonna be 30.
30.
Oh my god.
We have 4 years until the bust, in my mind.
The big bust.
Yeah, but then companies are gonna like. Before that happens, there'll already be like companies that will survive the bust, and then those will be huge.
Yeah.
Like if they're able to survive.
Yeah. I don't know. There's a lot of use cases for AI. A lot more than the internet.
I know, but 4 years. Think about what happened in 1 year.
Oh man.
But I think
That's a lot.
So think about all the other things that are going to happen in the next 4.
Yeah.
Especially text to video. If it's coming in the next 2, by the time we get to 4, it's going to be like Pixar movies.
that's true. Yeah. But there's still so many like. I feel like we don't understand how many like jobs are going to be replaced in like not just the US, like all around the world. It's going to be like several like 10, 20, 30 years for all these to slowly trickle down and to be replaced.
If we're talking geopolitics though, at the same time that this AI boom is happening, like a lot of the world is going to start shrinking in population.
Because
just demographics.
What do you mean?
Like the baby boom generation. Like there's a bunch of births that happened after World War II.
Yeah.
But then since then, every generation has been not growing as fast. And so like China's population is expected to halve. Because they also...
They have old people, yeah.
But they implemented the one-child policy.
Yeah.
So that's 500 million less people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's just China.
Insane.
When you think about Europe, so AIs are going to have to replace these jobs.
They're going to do it, though.
They are gonna
That's
do
the
it.
ironic thing.
Yeah, they will.
Because I remember seeing, like...
They have to. If they don't do it, then the entire world economy is going to shrink by 50%.
Yeah, but I think they will, though. That's the shocking thing.
I think it's also interesting that, like, I mean, if you think about it right now, I know it's not necessarily perceived this way, but we are in a sort of labor shortage. Not in the tech sector, but in the tech
That is
sector.
true.
We are in a significant shortage.
It's like people that are going into tech have less job security than other industries now.
Yeah.
Like if you work at an ice cream shop, you probably have way more job security.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, or barbers. I'm telling you.
Barbers, yeah, like
ice cream
construction workers, maybe.
The ice cream
like
shop
these
is-
brick and mortar stores that
Yeah.
sell tangible goods.
Yeah.
I think like they have a lot of job security
But-
and
but not
they know
even-
their value.
Not
Or
even
they
like
should.
even bigger than that is like hospitality, like
Yeah.
hotels. Servers for restaurants,
Barbers.
That's true.
barbers.
I'm telling you.
You're really on that barber train.
Yeah. Well, no. I want to start a book on what will the final human occupation be when AI's took over everything.
Is it gonna be written by
I think-
GPT-4?
I don't know, but I think it's gonna be barber. That's gonna be the answer.
I don't think it's. I feel like
Definitely barbers. No, it's not.
Wow.
What are some counterexamples? Name them now.
strippers.
I don't know.
How would you automate that job? That's all I'm
I
saying.
don't know.
People are imaginative.
People are imaginative.
But people don't like to think too much. They just like to do. Quite literally.
But let me see. Like maybe sports. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like football.
I don't.
I think
I
think if you just see something on the TV, you could believe it.
I
Like
think
I
live sports, maybe.
What?
Like cons.
No,
No,
I can see AIs playing live sports too. That's the thing.
But I feel like the physical.
Like live
No, no,
sports, sure.
Yeah, you get AIs,
Gym,
but like
little,
gyms.
bodies,
I
Gyms.
guess so.
gyms. It's not going away very soon.
That's true.
Uh,
Maybe
I'd
people
invest in
just get too
gyms.
lazy. Maybe it's long.
no. You guys know those like
I feel like if
ab things that you put on.
Oh,
It'll automate it.
Okay, we need to get back on track. This is what we were talking about before the podcast.
Yeah.
no. Yeah.
Oh, one last thing before we go back on track. I saw an ad for an AI muscular body. Like you uploaded your photo and then
god.
it gave you fake muscles, and I was like, that is probably the most useless thing.
It probably has like
No one's
100,000 downloads.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. it was-
100,000 downloads.
That's a
I
crazy
guarantee
thing.
you. Like okay, again, no offense, but like I think the biggest demographic would probably be the people that love manipulation.
What do you mean?
Like I remember that like the first versions of like AI for like bodies was like the face tuning.
Oh yeah.
You know, like all the filters,
Yeah.
and that got super popular in Korea.
Oh yeah.
Way back when, because that was like a very much a stigma. So I think it's definitely interesting to see an ad for muscular body.
Yeah, I don't know why I got targeted.
It
I'm
should-
super muscular.
Because they're going to the
Yeah.
gym. Because you care about your physique.
Exactly.
You go
Yeah.
to the gym.
Yeah, sure. We can say gyms, barbers. We'll see. If people care about their hair that much in like 100 years, we'll see.
Wait, I feel like it's automatable. I don't know.
I don't know if
Have
I
you
trust-
seen those vacuums that like cut your hair?
No.
I have not.
You
Wait.
haven't? No, those are so cool.
But it could just be like a little thing that goes over your head, and then you're like, I want that one,
Okay.
and it goes, and it just does it.
But it's a matter of-
Kid, imagine if that if like this situation.
Dude,
you
I
have-
would have typed 1 inch and it would have cut 1 inch. It would have
That's
cut
true.
No.
Oh.
If you sneeze, you would have put like 20.
It is haircut security.
Haircut security. Oh
Yeah.
god.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. All right, let's get back on track. We still haven't talked about runway ML.
Okay.
Oh, we didn't.
Text-
Oh my god.
Text to video.
Text to video. So the first iteration, the analogy I like to make is like what before DALL-E came out, DALL-E 1, there were these things called GANs, general adversarial networks. Basically the first ever like text to image, hyper pixelated like image generators.
And slow.
It's very slow. It's very like I remember Toma's laptop fans would be like, man, it would be jet engine levels. Like it was
My laptop would
crazy.
be taken off.
Yeah,
Oh, it's
but
flying away.
yeah, but I think like Runway ML's text to video is on that same level where it's like it's pixelated. It's not perfect. It does animate very well.
It does. But like, would I see myself paying like $1 to get one of the videos?
No,
No. Would I see myself paying 50 cents? No.
probably not.
But
Well, it depends on a use case though.
but like when
50
would
cents
you,
a minute?
when would you need a low quality
Okay, fine.
Weird
Fine.
video.
Low quality, not for now. Obviously, not for now, right?
like I don't think there's that much commercial things in it, but I think that Runway's goal is to make like really good text to video. And like Shantanu mentioned earlier, I think earlier today, he was like like Runway has a lot of video data because they do video to video AI. So they have all these people uploading videos and stylizing them, and so they have the data to make text to video.
Yeah. And they also know the
They probably
prompts that people want. Because essentially the way Runway ML has been doing it, they've been doing a very foundational building up level where they start off with video to video. And then they say, oh, now give us an image, we'll try to make that into a video, and then we'll add filters on top of that. Then we're gonna, abstract a little bit more, and a little bit more, and they add so many layers to it where, on top of that, they have like AI editing features where you can like mask out a flower or like a person to not exist in the video live. And so they're doing all these elements so that when they compile it together with one big thing, I remember when we were showing the demo for Imagine Video, where you had the camera angles and everything that was crazy. They're going to do something similar where instead of you having to like write each camera angle, you're like, this is what I want, and then it'll make all the camera angles on your behalf.
That's the hardest part, in my opinion,
the thing is
honestly.
that you can use GPT-4 to set up a shot list.
You can.
Yeah.
So like, I don't need them to. I think we just need a good model that can do text to video.
Yeah.
For me.
But I think that the model that hooks up that text to video to the big GPT-4 model will change everything because now it doesn't
I
even
think it's going to be
text
to it'll be like, here's what I'm thinking. It's like Runway ML text prompt goes to GPT-4, which converts it to camera shots, and then goes back to Runway ML with all the camera shots to make the video, and then it comes back.
Well, it's going to be optimized.
Yeah.
I'm saying, once they put them together, the AI can understand the feelings and motivations and like pick the shots that are like hit you different, right?
Exactly.
And that's where it can get cool.
I think it'll be really interesting, but I love and I really appreciate that Runway ML is really kind of taking the brunt of all of the video stuff.
It's cool, yeah.
Right now, I mean, they might be getting a lot of flack.
Stability is researching it.
Yeah, Stability is researching it. They're working on a few other things, but I think it's fascinating to see. Especially, I just appreciate that Runway ML like builds in public, or at least a lot more than most other companies.
Like, they're just a good AI company.
Yeah.
We stand.
We stand Runway. Runway, we love you guys.
I feel like there's no
Sponsors.
AI company that I really don't stand.
Jasper.
No, I'm corrected. I've been corrected.
Yeah, we do not stand Jasper in the Quasi household.
But last thing is Midjourney V5.
Yeah, that came out.
Have you guys been messing around with it?
It's nuts.
It's crazy.
Yeah, Jack, I feel like you have a lot to say about it because you're a resident AI image maker.
It's very cool and very good at making images from text.
Wow.
And very good at making images that you think you took on your phone, but then just didn't, and they were just fake.
Yeah.
That you think you took because they're so realistic.
That's sick.
In the Quasi office, I put up a gallery of just like AI generated photos, and it's really really cool to see like all the V5 images. Like it's crazy. I think like one thing that I've always wanted like AI to be able to do was, for instance, like doing window reflections. Like that's a really hard concept to be able to do well.
Yep.
And now in V5 they're able to do that. They fixed hands and eyes.
The way Midjourney does water reflections.
Water reflections is phenomenal. I think there's just a lot there with Midjourney, and they're really hunkering down on the art stuff, and they're very good at being artistic.
It's interesting how the way Midjourney trains this model is now different than everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Because like usually you train a diffusion off of a bunch of images, but the way that they've been making these versions is that they make another model above the diffusion model, which figures out what images humans like.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it only shows you the images that are aesthetically pleasing to humans.
Mm-hmm.
That's like a very good idea.
That's very powerful. That's like their moat of sorts.
Yeah.
They have the data on what is aesthetically pleasing to humans.
Because they know you upscale. That's the easiest thing.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like that one button changes so much.
It does.
And like Midjourney tends to emphasize like symmetry and like centered things and like crazy intricate lighting, like things that humans like.
Yeah, it's smart.
Yeah, I think another thing that I love about Midjourney V5, which is something that's kind of underrated, is the lack of need of prompt engineering. Like, I can just input a raw sentence. I don't need to say, like, highly detailed, 4K, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
I can just put in any damn sentence I want, and it'll create a stunning image.
But when you do prompt engineering.
When you do prompt engineering, it's going to be, like, eons better.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, the general public now can just literally type in just a phrase that they were thinking without having to think about like, oh, what do I need to tell the AI to do?
Yeah.
Like, you can have a ton of filler words and it'll sift through all of it and really get the best elements.
Mhm.
Like I remember, for some of the stories that we're making for fiction, I just put in some paragraphs, and it was crazy.
Yeah, I have an interesting question. Where do you think Midjourney goes from here? So they'll make a few more updates, right? They'll fix the last few kind of things. They'll make it more stylized. But 5 years from now, where do they go?
I think they're just going to be the text-to-image model for artists.
And they're gonna release the API.
That's their niche.
Probably say API, but that's it. You think it's just gonna stop at images? I
I
feel like they're hungry.
I think so. I think that they just really love what they do. There's nothing wrong with that.
Wow.
I think that they've shown in their Discord meetings and stuff like that they just really want to make tools for artists with AI. They're not interested in like automating it or doing stock photos or any of that. And I think that is what makes them like such an interesting company.
Yeah. Well, if that's true, then they're probably not going to give us an API.
They're
People
doing
have been
it-
asking for an API.
Yeah, no, like literally hundreds of thousands of people have asked them for an API, and I think they're doing it to appease the masses. And they're probably going to charge a shit ton of money.
They
just
probably
so
will
that-
charge a ton of money.
They're going to charge a ton of money just so that they can do what they want to do. I mean, I don't blame them. I would want to do that.
Yeah.
I mean,
So-
they haven't done it yet, and it's been like a while.
Yeah.
Like I know that they could have done it they already have an API. Like
Well, no, sorry.
how does the Discord bot
So
work?
really, I think it's genius because what Discord is a big limiter. It just stops you from spamming requests. It's basically it limits everyone to like around 100 a day just by being like through Discord, right? So what they're doing is they're getting.
Do you make 100 images a day?
Well, sure, like, on average, the entire population, right? So
Wow.
anyway,
I feel like 100 images
Fine.
a day is
fine, 30, 40, whatever. Anyway, what it does is
I
it
barely be 5.
it gives them very high prompt data because people are actively logging onto Discord, going to the servers, prompting the bot, right? When they're making an image, they know what they want to make. It's not some bot doing it, right? And they know what they're upscaling. And they're getting the best data they possibly can. Because while all these other things are spammed by these bot requests that like have the same prompt with one word change and all that stuff, they're getting high quality prompts from artists and they're getting shown which ones are being upscaled. So they're ensuring human feedback on Discord, which
I think also another thing is that the partnership, like from a business perspective, the partnership that they have with Discord is crazy. Like Discord is essentially giving them free reign on their platform to do whatever they want.
they make
like
they make so much money.
it's insane, and I think Discord is like also like trying to keep tabs. It's kind of like Microsoft and OpenAI partnership, Discord and Midjourney,
Yeah,
right? It's
yeah.
like Discord. I'm curious to see because Discord just integrated ChatGPT or like GPT-4 into their and they're going to create a new bot, like a Clyde bot or something, for all the servers. So I'm curious to see that they're probably setting up a partnership with this new API with Midjourney to do image generation within every single server on Discord, just built into Clyde,
I can see that. Yeah.
right? I think that would be like an interesting move from Discord's part because they've already had such a good partnership and like Midjourney is the #1 bot
Mm-hmm.
on Discord.
Yeah, I can see that. It'll be weird. It'll be a weird future.
Yeah,
Wait, but do we know how much DALL-E 2 costs?
a lot.
How many per image?
I think
How many
it's
cents?
65.
Cents? Oh wow.
No, it's definitely not that much.
It was that when it started.
Because I did the math, and if you only make 5 images a day on Midjourney, that's 5 cents an image, which is pretty steep in my opinion.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Do they charge per image?
No, if he only uses 5 per day,
Oh,
5 images times 30 days, 150 over 30 days again is 5 cents per image.
Yeah, give me 1 second. DALL-E currently costs.
isn't it crazy to think that a year ago, prompt engineering as a term
It's still the same.
didn't exist?
Wait, like the pure DALL-E playground or the API?
What's the playground at?
The playground is $15 for 115 credits, which like for 115 images.
60 cents.
That's what I
Yeah.
said.
Wait, and then
terrible.
wait.
I remember it being really bad.
That's
No. But then the API.
You pay even if it's mid.
Yeah, isn't that terrible?
Even if your prompt engineering sucks, you still pay.
That's crazy.
The API. How much does the API cost? Which is,
Okay, but concluding thought.
yeah.
I said it earlier. I just think it's crazy how a year ago the word prompt engineering didn't exist.
Yeah, it's cool.
Like March of last year, it was coming out at around this time, like April. I remember first hearing it.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, "What is this
Yeah.
prompt engineering?" We
Yeah.
called it the input problem.
Really? Wow.
Back when we worked on Marketplace, we called it the input problem.
I used to say that prompt engineering becomes like the only field of engineering at some point, but I feel like now
You can automate prompt engineering.
exactly.
Okay. The Dolly price is 2 cents an image.
So you're
1024 by 1024
so you're gonna
for the API.
really so your Midjourney deal is worse, assuming you'll make 5 a day.
Yeah.
That's pretty low.
But how much? Do you really make 5 a day? No.
No, I make way more.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but like through the site, we make way more. Also, just through the
Yeah, but like also, this pricing is super weird. It's like it's 0.016 for 256, 512 is 0.18 or 0.018, and then 0.2.
That does not seem right. I feel like
It's like such a weird step up. It's like well,
Yeah.
it's like plus like 2 every single time. I don't know.
It's probably just overhead of like allocating the server.
Or they probably want to prioritize 1024 usage.
probably.
Yeah.
Well, I think
I think those were all of the main things that we had to say. Granted, everything's probably like we say this every week. Everything's probably going to change next week. So stay
I'm
tuned.
hyped for next week.
Yeah.
What?
I mean, considering that Bard just came out today, and Adobe just came out today, and Framer is going to be coming out soon.
Isn't there rumors that Google's going to announce other things this week? Or was that
Google announced the G Suite stuff last week. But again, Google announces everything, but they never do anything.
Next week we can talk about Silicon Valley Bank.
Oh man, that's gonna be crazy.
Wow. I feel like there's a lot. Anyway, it's been nice. Catch us on the next Qaos podcast. Which one should we stick with? We should stick with one.
I like chaos.
Chaos?
I like neither.
That's on you.
I like
Ian?
podcasts about AI.
That's smart.
AI podcast.
You got
Alright,
an
we're
SEO.
gonna. Alright. Oh well.
What SEO? Everyone's looking at it through chat.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Alright, we're gonna call it Chaos from now on. QAOS, unfortunately.
What?
I'm kidding. I made up the name. I love it. Anyway, nice talking to y'all. See you next week.
See you
Bye.
guys.
Adios.